Well, there's no other way of looking at it. Flight training is expensive. But today we're going to talk about some ways I used to save a whole bunch of money when I did mine. Hello and welcome to another edition of Grease Monkey Gab. Random thoughts of an aircraft mechanic from the commute. And in this episode, I'm going to put my pilot hat back on, and I'm going to give you 5 tips to help you save money on your flight training based on what I actually did. The FAA requires 40 hours of total flight time to be able to get your private pilot license, but the national average is actually much closer to 75. And get this, the average cost is $10,000 or more. Now, I was signed off right at 40 hours, and I actually did mine for less than $5,000. Granted, that was back in 2012, I'll give you that, but I think the average back then was about $7,000 to $8,000. So first up at number 1, you've got to pick the right CFI. I remind every student pilot I meet that the CFI you use works for you. If things aren't jiving, if you think something's funny going on there, if it's just not working out, you can find another one. In fact, I recommend when you do your discovery flight, maybe do a couple. Go to a couple different schools, tell them what your goals are with your flight training and afterwards. And they should help pair you up with an instructor that fits your needs. So go check out a couple schools. It doesn't have to be the one closest to you. In fact, depending on where you live, it probably shouldn't be the one closest to you. If you live in a larger city type area, chances are that entire training experience is going to be more expensive to begin with. It may actually benefit you to travel a little bit further away. I mean, learning to fly at a big towered airport, you're going to spend quite a bit of time just taxiing and getting clearances and making way for other traffic, whereas a small non-towered, you pretty much just do your own thing. But getting back to the point, I've had CFIs that I've really liked and some I really didn't. Some I felt genuinely cared about the student, and some were just building time and really didn't. Now this will tie into number 2, but I've come across some instructors that'll charge you ground time for really nothing, whereas some that'll actually invest more into you and not. And next at number 2 is to actually study. Yes, your instructor can do ground instruction, but it is your job to learn the material and study for the test. Absolutely, if you're not getting something, ask for help. They can help explain it to you. But if you don't take the time to prepare when you're not flying, this is only going to drag things out. Know the maneuvers you're going to be doing in the next lesson. Know the theory behind them. Know the regulations pertaining to them. You will have to know all these things for your check ride. The more studying you do at home on your own, the less you will pay on the ground side of things. And likely the less amount of dual instruction you'll need. And coming up at number 3 is to buy block time. Now, we've already said the national average is around $10,000 or more to get your license. Many flight schools will give you a discount if you buy multiple hours right up front. In my experience, that's been about 10%. Now, 10% isn't a whole lot, but it does add up over time. Now, if you're hearing this and you're thinking, well, I don't have, say, $1,000 to put down on block time, then you probably shouldn't be doing flight training right now. If you don't have enough money and you end up taking breaks, it will take you longer to get your license, and this will cost you more in the long run. So if this is something you really want to do, you don't have to save everything, but make sure you save a good chunk of change so you can stay consistent with it. And at number 4, I have flying clubs. Now, flying clubs vary greatly in size, shape, formation. Some will allow you to do primary training in their aircraft, some will not. When it comes to any flying club, I personally recommend one that is an equity share-based club. You typically pay a lower hourly cost. You may even have a club instructor that will teach at a reduced rate. It really all depends, but you have to see what you have available to you. Where I lived in North Carolina, we had an awesome flying club. Where I live now, we don't. But check out the Flying Club Finder on the AOPA's website to see if you have one near you. Check out Craigslist. I don't really do Facebook, but I'd imagine they probably advertise on there as well. And up at number 5, we have networking. Or as I like to say, be an airport bum. Just hang around an airport and get to know people. Don't be pushy, don't be annoying. Just be honest and genuine and just have conversations with people. People can spot if you're fake and just trying to take advantage of them. So don't be that guy or girl. Ask them about their aircraft and their flying experiences. There's no telling what you might learn. And there's no telling what kind of flight experiences you might be able to get. Back when I was getting ready to go fly in Alaska the first time, I needed to get my high performance endorsement. And I was able to get that for free just through a friend of a friend. What can you do? Now remember, when it comes to networking and community, this isn't a one-way street. Many of these people have gotten to where you want to be, and they are willing to help you get there. But when it gets to be a few years down the road and you're in the position to do the same thing, do it. All right, I said there was 5, but if you're still watching to this point, I've got a little bonus one for you. I highly recommend when you start your flight training to do it at least once a week. Twice is better if your schedule and budget can handle it. I don't necessarily think you should do an accelerated course or something for your private, although, maybe that is the best option for you. But the longer you drag it out, the longer it's going to take to build the skills and the muscle memory needed to pass your check ride. That means more dual instruction and more money spent, more hours. Keep it fresh in your hands and mind. Sometimes flying might feel like you're just, riding a bicycle, but when you don't do it for a long time, it can be surprising all the little things you forget about. Well, that's my tips that, like I said, helped me get my private license for less than $5,000. Already got yours? What tips would you like to share with student pilots?